diss with Mr.C.C. Daily diss with Mr.C.C. He's mean, he's rad, he's so in charge. His disses are obscene and his cuss is large. You piss on him and he'll hate on you. You hate on him and he'll piss on you. Oh yeah, but daily diss with Mr.C.C. Oh, daily diss with Mr.C.C. Daily diss with Mr.C.C.
Hey yo, and welcome to another edition of the Daily Diss. I am Mr.C.C, and on this edition of the Daily Diss, I'll be talking about high school and how it was so crap, at least in my eyes. High school, people say high school was the best time of their life, and that if they had the chance to go back and do it all over again, they would. But that's not my experience. My experience was I was just getting by just to get out of high school, just so I can try and do something else in my life, because high school was just the worst in a lot of cases. You had your groups like your jocks and your band geeks and all that other all those other groups, and I was never really one to be in one specific group. I would just hang around with people I knew and the friends I had. But people were like, oh yeah, I was like the overachieving preppy douchebag that had to be in everything and had to be in 50,000 different extracurricular activities. I had to be in everything, and so they tried to be the whole one filled with school spirit. Yay! Sometimes it's one to punch their face in sometimes because they were like so annoying. It was like, oh yeah, you should do something like that now. That doesn't really interest me. Like, there was nothing really that really interested me enough to go out and try out for it. Like I was never athletically inclined. That's why I was never in any of the sports. Even in gym class, when the requirement for track and field, I didn't even have to do it. That's how lame I can be, or in a lot of sports. That's how bad I am. And you had the drama geeks who were totally trying to be all artsy with their drama. It was like so annoying. It was truly annoying. Like, and then you had the people that just floundered around, like that just drifted and bobbed around and stuff. And then you had the douchebags that you had to put up with in your classes. And you know, these guys were like the ones that were like totally made school a living hell for a lot of people, and myself included at times. They were just like the annoying. They were just like the worst. And then sometimes, but it was high school, and that's what the high school experience was. And the only reason I'm talking about high school is because in a lot of places in the world, school is back in, and people are going into high school or continuing on with their high school education. And a lot of people don't care about high school. They just want to get through it. And some people are just going because, oh, I get to see my friends again, and then there's the ones that, like I said, are the overachieving douchebags that want to be in everything. And high school was just a bad experience, and it's something I would never have wish upon anybody to have to go back and do. Unless, if you truly liked it, that's fine. But as for me, high school was the worst. Like, I was never the greatest in school, and so I just had to. In some subjects, I had to struggle by because I was never good in it. It's like math or sciences and stuff like that. There was a few classes that I was better in, that I did pretty alright in, considering that I was never the best student. But overall, high school was just this bad experience. I would never go back. It was like full of immaturity. Yeah, I was not the most mature at that time either. But that doesn't diminish the fact that high school was just the worst time when it comes to my life, or one of the worst times, because I just floundered around, like I said, and I just went from group. I just tried to hang out with people that I liked and that were friends, and I wasn't going to be typecast or stereotyped into one specific group, because that's not what I was. And I wasn't a stoner, I wasn't a geek, I wasn't a jock, I wasn't a skater, I wasn't one, and I wasn't any of that. And people who have and I encourage, well, I say that you shouldn't have to label yourself in being part of one specific group. You can go from group to group and make a ton of friends and make a few friends, and so you don't have to be labeled, because that's part of high school. You have to have a label. Oh, you're a geek, so and then the jocks were like some of the worst. Were some of the worst people. They were like some of the most immature people, like especially the hockey players. They would do stupid stuff around the lockers, and it was just, and they would like be among the most retardedest people at the school I went to, and it was just a total shitty experience with some of those guys. I'm not saying all the hockey players were like that, but a lot of them were. And then you had the science geeks and the band geeks and just the overall all smart ones. And these labels, you shouldn't have to be labeled at all, because you should be allowed to form an identity about yourself, an identity, and you shouldn't have to be, like I said, stereotyped into this one damn group. Because if you're not specifically that type of person, then you shouldn't have to be labeled. Oh, because you may hang out with certain people from a certain group more, doesn't mean you're that person. And with all the other pressures of high school, it's just stupid. The high school experience. You may have liked it, I didn't, and so I didn't care for it at all. So high school is if you want to enjoy high school, sure, try and make the most of it. But for a lot of you out there, you're going to end up in my situation and end up dreading going to it. Yeah, there were some good times, but there was a lot of bad times associated with it. I'm not gonna build up your hopes, say high school is the greatest thing ever or the worst thing ever, because it wasn't. But for me, more than not, it was bad. And then I just stopped doing what I to myself, or with the group of friends I made, or people that I would hang out with at lunch or whatever. But I didn't have to specifically be in one set group. And if you want to tell me that high school was all nothing but roses and happy times, that's fine, but I think you're a delusional dumbass for thinking that, because you're gonna see that high school is not all it's cracked up to be. Like I said, there's good times, and like I also said, there's bad times. So if you want to be a delusional dumbass and think everything, you're just gonna drift through. If you're gonna go through high school thinking you'll be the extracurricular, doing everything you can type person, then you're gonna find out you're gonna get burnt down, and you're gonna find it's not at all cracked up to be. And I'm not saying that you shouldn't try to take part, but that wasn't my particular style. So that's just how that's what I got out of high school. It wasn't really much. I sure there were some good teachers there, but overall the experience, I'd never do it again, because high school is just 3 years or 4 years, however long, 3 or 4 years, 3 years, and then 3 years of pure torture at times. And so I just think that high school is something, again, that I don't want to do. And if you believe it's going to be, like I said, all sunshine, rainbows, and roses, then like I said, you're a delusional dumbass, and that's all I can say. Because you shouldn't think high school is the best time in your life, because there's going to be better things in your life than just high school. Because once you're done high school, you can't act like that anymore. Even though many people do, you can't act like like a high school dumbass anymore. You're going to have to go on, try to live your life, and be in the real world. Because once high school's done, it's going to hit you. Bam! It hits you. School's done, and you're going to have to figure out your life. Because you can't live in this high school world forever, even though some people do. So that's my take on high school. Thank you for watching. Leave a comment in this comment section down below, and join me tomorrow for another topic. Quick.